as far as the business of boxing.
The best thing is the fighter needs to take almost everything.
You paid all that money and had the biggest stage in boxing on Netflix, and that is really the best they could do?
He knew that he could not beat Bud Crawford, which is why they basically paid him $100 million.
Canelo Alvarez has shocked the boxing world with his latest admission. Speaking on Joe Rogan's podcast, he confessed that he took it easy on Terence Crawford in their fight. According to Canelo, he didn't give his full effort, fought at half pace, stayed flat-footed, and allowed Crawford to look better than he really was. He even admitted that money and business played a role, claiming he was paid not to fight with his usual intensity.
Well, how does that work? Because it's not pay-per-view. They still...
Netflix putting up the money.
So they don't get no back end then?
No, there is no back end. There's ticket sales.
Yeah, because you know pay-per-view, the back end is the most.
There's no pay-per-view.
I guess if you give me $50 million up front, I don't really care about the back end.
This revelation confirmed what many suspected right after the fight. Fans and experts pointed out that something about Canelo's performance looked off. He barely used his jab, one of the weapons that defined his career. He threw single shots instead of building combinations, never pressured Crawford with his usual rhythm, and showed no urgency as the round slipped away. Statistically, it was one of the lowest punch outputs of his career. While some thought age had finally caught up to him, Canelo's admission has reframed the entire conversation.
He don't have the punching power, but he has the skills that's necessary.
Crawford.
Yeah.
So you were very impressed with his performance? Would you say?
Well, yeah. You know, the point of the matter is, you know, I knew if it came down to if somebody got knocked out, I thought Crawford would probably get knocked out.
Yeah.
But I know about
Oscar de la Hoya was among the first to raise suspicions. Just hours after the fight, he posted online, "What was that? I know Canelo was slow, but not that slow. And I know Canelo was weak, but not that weak. Did Canelo train, or was he paid to lose?" Having promoted Canelo for years, de la Hoya said the performance was unrecognizable. From his experience in Canelo's training camps, where sharpness and output were always present, this fight looked completely opposite. For him, it wasn't just age, it felt deliberate.
When he got hit by Crawford and he took that deep breath, he's frustrated. Don't get me wrong. Canelo facing the right opponent that's going to stay in front of him, that's going to fight, that's going to make it a brawl, Canelo knocks him out. So I'm not saying Canelo's shot or done. No, it's far from.
Veteran fighter Gabe Rosado echoed those concerns. He described Canelo as fighting with cemented feet, no jab, no combinations, and only one punch at a time. To Rosado, it was the type of performance you'd expect from someone years past their prime, not a reigning champion. He compared it to the Canelo who pressured Golovkin with jabs and combinations, pointing out that none of that fire was there against Crawford.
Watching Bud catch those shots off his glove,
he looked amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. He'd go to a body and he'd catch that and come up with an uppercut. You know, just all those things that seem...
He looked great.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that to ever.
No one has. Yeah, he's the best.
Canelo. Ever.
Yeah, he's the best.
And I think he would do that to Canelo on his best day. And Canelo said it, he goes, I couldn't figure him out.
No.
Which is...
Claressa Shields had a different take, believing Canelo's body was simply giving out. In her view, he couldn't move, couldn't throw in volume, and his legs were gone. That explanation seemed logical to many. Meanwhile, David Benavidez, Canelo's loudest critic, wasn't surprised at all. Long before the fight, he accused Canelo of avoiding risky challenges. After the Crawford bout, he doubled down, saying Canelo was no longer motivated by competition, only by paydays.
The advice for them for his boxing business?
Because, you know, the fighters always get the less money, and some of the fighters they need to take the money, the guarantee money, right? Because they don't make a lot of money in the fights, right? But they are as a fighter.
According to Benavidez and others, Canelo was chasing the biggest checks, not the toughest fights. While some fans were shocked, Benavidez claimed this was nothing new and predicted Canelo would continue down that path. De La Hoya, speaking to Fight Hype, pushed back slightly. He argued that Canelo isn't finished, but admitted the right matchmaking is key. Give him a guy who stands in front of him who wants a brawl, and Canelo knocks him out. De La Hoya said, "It's not that he's done, it's about putting him in the right fights and squeezing those last dollars from the fans."
You see, Canelo is a strong fighter, and every punch he throws comes with power, right? That breaks down the body. Physically, his body is breaking down. Plus, he just had a kid. Canelo wants to go enjoy his life. He wants to keep his wits, keep his mind together, stay sharp, and go enjoy a little bit of that money that he just made. But he could not pass the torch to somebody that didn't respect the game. Canelo's at the top of the list. But
De La Hoya believes Canelo can still win at the elite level, but only against favorable styles. Eddie Hearn, however, views things differently. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, he stressed the commercial and sporting importance of a rematch with Crawford. Fans want to know if Alvarez can adjust or if Crawford will push him closer to retirement. Hearn said, he pointed out that Canelo has reinvented his tactics before and could surprise everyone if he comes in with a fresh approach.
Oh, Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In their first fight, Canelo actually looked sharp early. He controlled the opening rounds with counters and forced Crawford to stay cautious. But from rounds 9 to 12, the momentum completely shifted. Crawford landed the cleaner punches, took command, and pushed Alvarez on the defensive. For Hearn, the story of a rematch could come down to those later rounds. With better stamina and urgency late, he believes the result could be very different.
We knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No,
Chris Eubank Jr. agrees, calling a rematch massive and insisting Canelo still has the tools to flip the narrative. He pointed to Alvarez's experience and punching power, saying those weapons remain dangerous if applied with the right strategy. Trainer Robert Garcia also supported the rematch, but emphasized hunger as the deciding factor. If he comes back with the fire he needs, he can beat Crawford, Garcia said. He warned that Canelo cannot afford to repeat the mistake of easing off late. He must press with power from start to finish. Across the sport, the theme is consistent. Canelo still has the ability, but his mindset will define his future.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't.
For Crawford, the win over Canelo, controversial or not, has opened massive new opportunities. Still, questions linger about who he will face next. Analysts suggest he might avoid the riskiest names. David Benavidez, Dimitri Bivol, Diego Pacheco, and Bektamir Melikhaziv all bring size and power that could trouble him. Instead, many believe Crawford will target opponents who bring strong name value, but less danger, such as Jermall Charlo or Hamza Shiraz.
Potential rematch, as a Canelo fan, I don't really want to see that. I don't think there will be much difference. I don't think Canelo can bring anything to the table that's going to surprise Crawford. He's a different fighter now. If this was 10 years ago, yes, I think the fight could have gone a different way, but there's no point in even thinking that because Canelo's a different fighter now. They fought today. They fought when Crawford is older as well, so I can't be trying to say, well, Canelo's not in it.
This is where business shapes boxing. Crawford now has the leverage to command big paydays, but choosing the right opponents will determine how long his momentum lasts. On the other side, Canelo faces his own crossroads. If he pursues immediate redemption in a Crawford rematch, the fight would capture global attention. But if he instead chases safer, more favorable matchups, it may confirm that his career is entering its final chapter.
Between Terence Crawford and Canelo, personally, I do not want to see a rematch. Usually rematches are in order when it's a very close fight and you can't really tell, which fighter won. There was a lot of close rounds, swing round. That wasn't the case in this fight. Terence Crawford won pretty handedly. I personally scored the fight 9-3. Being generous, you can give it 8-4. Now,
even though Canelo is being called out for chasing the money, most believe not even money can save him from the position he put himself in by taking the big payday against Crawford. The truth is, boxing has reached a stage where money fights rule everything. It doesn't matter if a fighter is past his prime or clearly slowing down. If the numbers are huge, the fight gets made. That's exactly what happened here. Canelo was already fading, but the Crawford fight was too big financially to walk away from. The problem is, while the money keeps piling up, the damage to a fighter's body doesn't stop. And for Canelo, this may have been the one payday too many.
Saw that. So the Coca-Cola, I'm buying.
I risk my life in the ring, and everybody's making money too. It's not that they don't making money; they making money, but the fighter need to make more than everybody.
Coach Ronnie Shields didn't mince his words after the loss. He told Fight Hub TV he wants to see Canelo retire. Shields said what he saw against Crawford told him everything. It's over. He didn't see the energy. He didn't see the sharpness. And he didn't see the old Canelo who could walk fighters down and control the pace. To Shields, this isn't about switching trainers or tweaking tactics. It's father time. He said, "No coach alive can save Canelo at this stage. Fire Eddie Reynoso, hire someone new. It won't matter. His body isn't responding anymore. And once that happens, no amount of training can reverse it."
Not a name to have just one name at 160, 154. I mean, it's just hard for him, ideally, to just see a fight. No names resonating at the moment. Would you be okay to see him retire?
I would. Look, he's had a great career also. Yes, he's older, but...
Oscar de la Hoya, however, had a different view. As a promoter, he still thinks there's a way to extend Canelo's career. He suggested that if Canelo parted ways with Reynoso and brought in a new trainer, maybe even someone like Shields himself, he could freshen things up. But Shields quickly shut that down, saying the problem is deeper. Canelo has been fighting at the elite level since he was a teenager. That's years of wars, grueling training camps, and punishment. Meanwhile, Crawford has fewer fights, fewer brutal battles, and fresher legs. Shields said Canelo's body is basically screaming at him to stop, and the longer he ignores it, the worse it will get.
Yeah, look, I mean, the only thing I can tell him or give him advice in is get a new trainer. I can't advise him on retiring or staying in box. That's a very personal decision. But I can say, hey, get a new trainer. You'll do.
And you really can't argue with the signs. Ever since the Dimitri Bivol fight back in May 2022, Canelo hasn't looked the same. Sure, he's still been winning, but without the same dominance. He hasn't stopped anyone. He's looked tired late in fights. And most of the opponents he's beaten were guys he could still handle even while slowing down. Crawford was different. Canelo couldn't bully him with size, and when the fight went deep, his conditioning betrayed him. Shields is right. The body always tells the truth sooner or later.
Now, if we see a fight where Canelo Alvarez looks old, then guess what? He's old. Right? And it might be a case of him being less than he was. And then,
interestingly, Shields also gave advice about Crawford that shocked people. He said even Bud should consider retirement soon, maybe after one more fight. Crawford is 38 now, and while he's still sharp, many believe it's smarter to get out before the decline begins. Shields even suggested Crawford drop down to 160, grab a belt, and then retire. His reasoning is that defending at 168 is dangerous. The contenders there are younger, hungrier, and stronger. He even warned that someone like Christian Billy could be a nightmare. Billy is a relentless puncher, the kind of fighter who won't let you breathe. Crawford was able to handle Canelo because Canelo slowed down and gave him space. Against a younger, non-stop pressure fighter, that wouldn't be possible.
Been floating around as a potential opponent for Canelo, but the big question has been, is Christian ready for that opportunity? Is he ready for the moment? Do you feel after this Saturday that you are ready for a fight with whoever wins the fight against Crawford and Canelo?
I'm born ready. Yeah, I'm born ready. Yeah. I'm born ready for this fight.
But retirement doesn't always match reality, especially when money is on the table. Crawford is now the undisputed champion at 168 and one of the biggest names in boxing. That's why Turki Alashik wasted no time hinting at David Benavidez, asking if he could still make 168. It's a clear sign he wants Crawford versus Benavidez, a fight that would generate tens of millions and have the whole sport talking.
You want to fight Canelo? Would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez? But you want Canelo. But you want Canelo.
You gotta understand, like.
But I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't, you know.
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. You know what I mean? Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother.
Crawford himself admitted he's considering his options. Speaking to Ring Magazine on X, he said he'll sit down with his team to decide whether to go down to middleweight or stay at super middleweight. The problem with middleweight is simple, there's no money there. The champions Janibek, Alam Cannully, Arislandi Lara, Carlos Adams are solid fighters, but they aren't stars. None of them sell pay-per-view. None of them excite the US or UK markets, and none of them will convince Turkey to cut a massive check. Shields is right that Crawford could take a belt there, but financially, it just doesn't make sense.
Just still a need for Benavidez.
Who? Canelo?
Turkey
people,
dropped.
You know, people
Turkey,
are talking about it.
Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
So.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there. No, ain't for that fight. Maybe playing on.
That's why Benavidez is the golden ticket. The big question is whether he can still make 168 comfortably. If he can, that fight would be massive. Benavidez is young, undefeated, and desperate for a chance to prove himself against an elite name. Crawford is older, but with a skill set, fans believe he still has a real shot, even at a size disadvantage. Reactions online were instant. Some fans argued Bud would outbox Benavidez with ease, while others said the size and pressure of Benavidez would finally be too much. Either way, everyone agreed it's a fight worth making.